What do you do if you're a presidential candidate and you don't have enough following countrywide? What do you do? And you want to be president? Now, let's not answer that very important question for today with theories. Let's get solid facts, and let's get those facts from history. We now know that in the run-up to the 2017 presidential elections, Jubilee were in trouble with the presidential candidate. A decision had already been made to steal those elections. But to steal an election successfully, you need to convince the majority of the people in the country that those elections were in fact not stolen. You need to play perception games. We now know that this was executed through what we knew as the 36 bloggers and a man called Dennis Itumbi. Put 36 keyboard warriors in a room, each with dozens of different handles, and unleashed them on social media, selling ideas, selling perceptions. It all worked like a charm until the Supreme Court decision on September 1st, followed by the rerun, the repeat of the presidential elections, which laid bare the truth for those who wanted to see it. You see, for most people, if you go on social media and you find a very huge crowd of people supporting a certain candidate, you will assume that that person has got support countrywide. After all, there are so many of his supporters on social media. Most people will not imagine a bunch of bloggers in one room with computers are doing all this, and within no time is very popular countrywide, or so you think. And the problem is, our lazy media will always go to social media to look for stories. They will do their research on social media. Our mainstream media reflects what is on social media. Now, the man who did what he did in 2017 has been doing the same for Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Dennis Itumbi bloggers have been key in selling the Hustler Nation narrative. Now, the problem with this is that you cannot have an honest discussion as a nation about issues that are important, critical for you as a nation, because these keyboard warriors are forcing the narrative. They are forcing the discussion. For example, it is very clear we are not allowed to discuss how people made their money, what factory or industry they launched that made them their fortune, their endless supply of cash. We're not allowed to discuss that. It is irrelevant to good governance. If you want to prove that what I'm saying is absolutely 1000% true, take the recent remarks yesterday by Raila Odinga attacking the deputy president in Mombasa. Raila talked about a person who has grown rich on public funds and is using the same public funds to fool Kenyans. And yet they don't really have a real agenda to improve the lives of Kenyans. Wheelbarrows are for construction sites. They'll take you nowhere, Raila said. Now, if this was the 90s, the old days, when social media had not arrived and the 36 bloggers had not arrived, then what would have happened is that a heated national debate would have started, focusing on the source of wealth of William Samoei Ruto. And at some point, that discussion would have moved into the source of wealth of a man called Raila Odinga. Now, that is a useful and productive national discussion. But of course, this has not happened. And it will never happen. simply because what we discuss is controlled. So you'll hear people saying, all these politicians are thieves. Therefore, that is irrelevant. All politicians steal public funds. So that is irrelevant. Raila should get better advisors, because that line is taking will take him nowhere. He should get better strategy, because he'll go nowhere telling us that the deputy president stole public funds. So, is it true that Raila is making a mistake? Is it true that this experienced politician doesn't have the right strategy to counter the well-oiled campaign machine of one William Samoei Ruto? Does Raila even stand a chance against these perception-creating gurus on the deputy president's camp? Have you noticed how over the last few months, focus has shifted to how the Jubilee government has messed up the country? But then the name of one of the main architects of that Jubilee government is missing from that blame. The name of Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. He was bang in the middle of that Jubilee government when the mess was happening. But now he is safi kama pamba. That is how effective these bloggers and Dennis Itumbi are. Make no mistake about it. Because the truth is, these perception bloggers have destroyed Uhuru Kenyatta, when we know for a fact that the person who was making real decisions in the real mess was Ruto. Of course, the president must take responsibility for it, because the buck stops the president. He is the president. He was the president even then. But the point I want to emphasize is the power and effectiveness of these people that Raila is now up against. Raila still walks with a slight limp. He has a problem, recurring problem, with one of his eyes, and a few other medical problems, all caused by injuries sustained while he was fighting for a better Kenya. William Ruto has no such injuries. He has no such issues. But the perception boys will never allow you to interrogate such issues. They are irrelevant to a better Kenya. They are relevant for the 2022 presidential race. In a normal presidential election anywhere in the world, the first issue that voters will interrogate of a candidate is, what have you done for the country so far? What have you selflessly sacrificed for your country so far? And this is why, in a country like the US, if you are a soldier and fought for the country, that is already very many votes in your favor, in the bag. In Kenyan politics, that is irrelevant. Just analyze the comments, even on this channel, even on this video, and you will quickly recognize members of the 36 bloggers, or shall I say the 36 bloggers reloaded. Bottom line, even as Raila launches his campaign, he has a big problem, because these efficient, effective propaganda peddlers are not going to go away. And if you still doubt the effectiveness, take the recent Kiambaa by-elections. They convinced us that Kiambaa was all Ruto. But then look at the election results. The difference between the winner and the run-up was how many votes? 500. And now we're even being told those votes were stolen, allegedly. But the issue is, we were all fooled. We were given the wrong perception, which was not the reality, not the truth on the ground. The election results in Kiambaa Prove it. Numbers don't lie. Make no mistake about it. These guys are effective. In my view, Raila Odinga's recent remarks were very strategic. And it's because of the following. What Raila says will be discussed on social media, and this will put pressure on the propaganda peddlers. What Raila's strategists are trying to do is to force the discussion where the deputy president is weakest. But it will be very interesting to see if it works, because the propaganda peddlers are experts at twisting things and changing the topic effectively. Folks, the real political battle for 2022 has just started. And if you want to avoid being controlled by the propaganda peddlers and you want to see things clearly, I highly recommend my WIBs. Take advantage of my amazing offer while it lasts.
Many times on this channel, I have described the upcoming 2022 general elections in Kenya with a Swahili very popular Kenyan expression as follows: Kimeumana kuumana. Oh yes. And maybe many on this channel have not been able to fully understand what I'm really driving at. What is the worst that can happen? What can really happen? What is this that kimeumana kuumana? Really? What is it? I know many of you are asking. In my latest weekly intelligence briefings number 60, I cover one of these areas that is really scary about our upcoming elections. And it is a trend that we have seen very clearly from the last two elections, the last two general elections. Of course, I'm talking about 2013 and 2017. It is a trend that is deadly, to say the least. Before the 2013 general elections, we had the death from a helicopter crash of the late Professor George Saitoti, who, by the way, had already announced that he was vying for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. But was it really an ordinary helicopter crash? There is a lot of information in the public domain that suggests it was not. And I covered this in great detail in weekly intelligence briefings number 60. Now let me give you another quick example. In the run-up to the 2017 general elections, indeed very close to those elections, about a month before those elections, the CS internal at the time, a man called Joseph Nkaiseri, suddenly passed on from what we were told was a heart attack. A sudden heart attack just before the general elections. And then we had the still unsolved mystery of the gruesome murder of IEBC computer guru, the late Kshs. In my view, the stakes were very high in 2013. They were higher in the 2017 elections. And they're highest, a lot higher, in the 2022 upcoming general elections. Now, there are details which unfortunately I cannot share on this public channel that are included in my WAB number 60 that will just blow your mind. No kidding, no exaggerating. And on this channel, it is our tradition to analyze our politics in our beloved country a lot more deeply than many others do. I'm not saying we're the best. I'm not bragging. but we make an effort to analyze politics very deeply. And therefore, the analysis of this highly sensitive area must be done. Otherwise, we will be cheating our subscribers and indeed our fans and followers if we somehow leave it out conveniently from our deep analysis, because it is all part of the upcoming Kimeumana Kuumana 2022 general elections. Now, times are hard. There's no doubt about that. And many of you, my beloved fans and followers of this channel, may many times feel that you're being left out because of the relatively high cost of being a weekly intelligence briefings subscriber. But I have great news for you today. For the next 4 days, from the day this video was published, you will be able to become a temporary subscriber for the weekly intelligence briefings for 2 whole months for only 9.95 Kenya shillings, or $9.95. This has been the special offer for a monthly subscription, but now you can get 2 months. And even for those who your subscription has expired, you can now extend it for 2 whole months for only $9.95, or Kenya shillings 9.95 only. Go for it. I'm afraid you only have 4 days. In my opinion, the current special offer for a whole year, and even for lifetime subscription, you never need to pay again, is also very reasonable, very low. So please take advantage. This offer will not remain forever. Indeed, it is going to end very soon, if I can give you a heads up. Those who normally pray for a lovely, beloved motherland, I urge you to step up your prayers concerning our next general elections. Until next time, this is Kshs. Kumekucha.